Alrighty, doing a quick scooter mode tutorial on how to speedrun Road Rash 64. So first we want to enter the main menu and using the C pad press down, right, up, left, and then ZZL and then left on the C pad again. And that lets you access scooter mode, which is here after level 5 in thrash mode. We want to start on race 5 as that's one of the more reset heavy races, so we get that one out of the way early in the runs. And for a run to be accepted on the leaderboards, we set the opponent difficulty to toughest opponents, leave it as some opponents. We want too many cops. We want heavy traffic and some pedestrians. And with that, we just spam A. One sec, let me just get my splitter ready. So spam A through this menu, and on this screen is where we start the run. So first off, we want to start every race by inputting a wheelie with the A button. This helps us get off the line faster. Had a bit of a scuffed impact with that ledge there, but not too much time was lost. And we missed the hammer that we typically pick up if we don't hit that ledge. But we want to drive close as possible to that building. So right now I'm just lightly kicking opponents away. So we've crashed already, so that's not the greatest start, but gonna do a no reset run just to sort of showcase what Scooter's all about. So typically we'll be fighting with these guys for a bit for the first half of the race. And we want to make use of the opponents with nunchucks or chains as they give us a slight speed boost. Can't get hit too much though because you will get run out of health in the top left of your screen. That top bar is player health. And then we want to come down here and align ourselves with the corner of this seam. And the clouds will be important too. We'll get to that in a bit. But then we want to steer hard right and then we finish the first race. So little shortcut there, saves a bit of time. Disregard my splits, they're just there for show and tell. And then quickly spam through that menu to get to the next race, as that's pretty important to getting quick time. Now we want to avoid interaction with these red guys as much as possible. Both of them have a taser that's just like ours, except their stun time goes for about 2.5 times longer than our little cattle prod, as you can see there. So that was actually pretty good because I got a slight speed boost and no real penalty. And our health's high enough that if we don't get kicked here, yep, we can get another speed boost from the chain. The chain takes a bit over half your health, so if you've been kicked twice and you haven't had about 5 or 10 seconds to recover, then try and avoid getting hit at all costs. As that reverse hitbox shows, I just got knocked off. And so pretty much any time you fall off the bike, you're costing yourself about 5 to 10 seconds. So if you're hunting for a 14:30 or below, then the run's pretty much dead already. So I was trying to tase Cormac there through, or Dane through this guy, but it wasn't working. He just got kicked through the truck. And we want to try and optimize our lines as much as possible while staying off the dirt. The dirt is safer because the racers are less likely to try and interact with you there, but it is about a 10 mile per hour speed penalty. So I run this game on PAL just because that's what I have access to, and emulators aren't allowed for the speed run. It's a bit of a dirty word in the speedrunning community usually. But for Road Rash, I've noticed that the times actually aren't impacted that badly. And yep, weren't penalised too much by getting whacked across the line there. And again, want to wheelie at the start of each race. Acceleration like significantly improves. You'll save about half a second to a second each time you do that. And a lot of this run is you'll pretty much be trying to survive. And if we can, try and make use of those cops with a speed boost, but you can't look behind you, so it's pretty difficult to actually consistently get those speed boosts. Another one that's really good in scooter mode is there's a random chance of spawning a cop car that chases the pack, and their speed's actually set to much higher than the scooters can handle. So you can get a pretty big speed boost just by sitting in front of a cop car, though it does come with the risk of crashing. Yeah, this is not ideal having those two red dudes around, so we want to get rid of them as quickly as we can. Second half of this level again, pretty big shortcut, and aligning this stop sign here with the clouds or with the top of this hill is going to get us where we want to go. And the clouds are always a consistent set pattern, so you can use that as a point of reference to not get lost, especially on insanity mode where some of the bigger shortcuts are. So we aligned pretty well with the top of that hill, and here we just want to enter as far to the right as we can onto this concrete patch. Stay on the concrete patch because it keeps our speed as high as possible, and we cross the line next to the finish line. So this one's a bit more challenging because it has a lot more emphasis on trying to stay alive because there's no real shortcuts in this race. So we want to stick to this footpath to try and avoid the combat. That red dude is a menace, so we got out there quickly. And I got a bit greedy there going for a perfect line, and I spun out, so that's actually probably an even bigger time penalty than if I'd just crashed. And yeah, stick to this footpath to try and avoid these red dudes. They are responsible for many a dead run of mine. And now I've been kicked multiple times, so I've got no health. If you want to actually optimize your time, go around this ramp. To the right, you can sneak through, and you'll still have max speed. I go up to get the 4 times just to be a bit safer. It costs about 1 or 2 seconds, and it also lets you absolutely send these guys into the stratosphere. So if I can get, yep. So it increases knockback as well as the damage you do. So if you soft kick them, which is that one, it interacts with their bike and not just their player model. It doesn't damage them, but it does give them a pretty hefty bump even without the multiplier. Holding A in situations like that gets you out of crashing into the car by wheeling over it, and that applies to all levels. Ambulances and trucks are much more inconsistent for wheeling over, so I'd avoid challenging those altogether. Hit a pedestrian for good luck there. That's our lucky charm, and it helped us get rid of Dane. So yeah, that one was pretty straightforward. And ignore the splits there. They're about 10 seconds faster than they should be, just because my PB, we used to split at a different point in the race. So here we want to try and drag ourselves to the left, just because the terrain's much less bumpy and easier to recover on. And I'm holding my taser out just in case I see an opponent start to kick me, as we want to avoid getting kicked. But we welcome the nunchucks, so I'm not attacking him yet. I couldn't react to his kick in time. And yeah, slight speed boost there, and you can see from my health bar that we're in bit of trouble, especially with how aggressive some of these guys are. Well, every NPC on scooter mode is very aggressive, and that's what makes some of these, even the non-shortcut levels, so challenging to get a good time on. In the bottom left, if you pay attention to that, you'll see how far behind the opponents are. So I think that's measured in feet or maybe meters. It doesn't really give you a reference. And I'm not hitting them just because I wanted to try and take advantage of a nunchuck boost, but we didn't get one. Taking a long time to finish the race here, that's also part of the RNG of Road Rash, is after you cross the line, it can take a bit for all of the races to finish. So that was a good start there. It gets pretty hectic, so you can get KO'd pretty easily. We got tased, but that's not the end of the world. Alright, we got rid of Dane. So here you can pretty much just mash the soft kick button and tase people. Got a slight speed boost there. And then we want to come over this direction, and we want to align ourselves slightly to the right of that tree on the crest. And this will take us to the next segment of the race. And that was perfect. So we got a speed boost that held the boost for a little while. Funny little dead cop spawned over there. So if you do that shortcut right, you can get in front of the police guy there, but it's RNG on which path he'll take. So that was purely luck that I got the boost in that spot. And we're not getting any this run, but there are also cop cars that spawn driving in the direction that you race, and they have a chance to trigger to chase all of the races. Okay, so that was a bad hit because we lost all our health and we didn't get any of a speed boost from it. So now we're trying not to get hit at all. So the taser does come in handy, but it's quite a weak one. And with these races, it doesn't matter which position you finish in, as long as you finish the race. In the speed run, it does count as moving on to the next part of the level. So here, I'm going to be safe and just go around this guardrail, and we take this shortcut here to pretty much skip the entire level. And we want to align ourselves between this power pole to the left and the tree on the right. And that gives us a nice big boost down this hill. And if you do it correctly, you can actually align to just land on the road. And that also messes up the spawn for these pedestrians. So 3 of them will spawn in a row. And it also messes up the cop spawns. So you'll usually see a cop spawned right there after the finish line, which they typically don't do. So that's a fun little glitch. So this one, we start the race by doing a wheelie, and we want to come up here so this avoids interaction with the other racers and is a good line. And these 3 buildings on the right coming up, there's 2 gaps you can take, IDOT for the second one here. I messed it up and it is a bit riskier, but it does let you spend a bit more time on the regular road. In the distance here, we're aligning ourselves and the stop sign with the 3rd notch from the left of this giant building. Render distance is pretty poor on this console, so feel free to use the clouds if you can't see the building. And then we start steering to the right here. And I like to use the edge of this building to bump myself and get that aligned with that finish line quicker. And we're on to the final race here. So here, instead of following the regular race route, we just instantly come straight to the left here and try to get on the road as quickly as possible. And then it's all about optimizing your lines through this section. And if you want to see this run done cleaner, check out Joe DeMillo's world record of 14 minutes 13 seconds. And he showcases a lot better alignment than myself in some of these shortcuts. And also, I think there's like a lot to be learned from watching other people run, seeing what flavor of creativity they bring to the table. And then so up here, as soon as we see the tree get to that point in the screen, we veer hard left, and that gets us aligned with the finish line, and you finish the split there the moment you cross the line. So that was a pretty scuffed run in all, but it was still under 15 minutes. And with those strats, assuming you get as good a run as possible, under 14 minutes and 10 seconds is technically possible, maybe sub 14, but yeah, it's very difficult to get a good run going just because of the RNG on how aggressive the bots can be and whether they kick you. Lots of factors like that. Thanks for watching.